Going live. Hello, everybody. We're trying to get everything set up here. I'm excited to see you. Let's take a second, make sure that Facebook's working right this time. It's interesting. Do you prefer Annika or AJ?
Annika's perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Annika with us today. Let me make sure on my phone everything's good. I'm going to be watching your comments below. Teresa, one of our accountability coaches, will be on as well. Hopefully she'll be inviting some of you just to kind of see this and see someone who took action last time and hopefully has made a difference in her business, and it's excited to hear a little bit about the difference for you. So, all right. Hey, Teresa, it's good to see you on there.
Hey, Teresa.
Last time, did you talk with Chelsea or Shaniqua or anybody, one of our concierge in the group?
Yes, actually, I was talking to Shaniqua for a little while, and then I had seen a post. I think that Chelsea did, but I'm not sure, about the membership.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for joining the membership, by the way.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
Great value out of that one. So
it was such a great explanation at the time, and also the value of what was offered. So I was like, you know what? I did the challenge. I had some quick wins from that. So I joined, and it's been really good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it's just ridiculous how much information we have in there. Workshops. You have like over 57. We bring in all those top people and everything. So I'm glad you enjoy it. All right, so I see 6 people on right now. If you'd be so kind to put your name below, what kind of wedding professional you are. And we love questions and interactions. We love thumbs up and hearts if you give it to us on things that you like or resonate with. It helps to make more of a just a fun time together. So please do let us go. All right. Well, I'm so excited for you, Annika, to have had some success from the last challenge, and I'm excited to see where the next level is for you to kind of go. As you know, we work with people who are just starting off, and then our phase 2 type people have kind of a team they're building. They're working on building their business out, and then phase 3 type people need help. They've got a marketing machine going. They've got maybe a multi-state, and they're looking for different marketing avenues. Maybe they're all on the knot, but they want to diversify to convert more elsewhere. So where would you say you are in that hierarchy? More in the starting off phase, more in the medium, or in the multi-state level?
I think I would say I'm a little bit between. Currently, the business is at, for those who don't know, hair and makeup for weddings.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about what you do. So, yeah.
The business, which I started about 6 years ago, I started in what I would describe as the Texas of Canada, which is Alberta.
Okay.
In Calgary. So we do Stampede. The demographic there is very country. People wear cowboy hats and cowboy boots during that time of the year. And they have that background from rodeos and being on farms and stuff like that. And that's where most of the people, it's becoming more multicultural, but it's a very Canadian province in comparison to Ontario, Toronto and the GTA, where I am currently now and where I'm from originally. So I started the business there. There's a team of 6 out there still who we still advertise, and we still operate in Calgary and also all over Alberta as well, and a little bit into BC, because there's parts of BC that people can't reach from their capital city that's closer to us. And then also here in Toronto, I moved here just a couple months, a week before all of these pandemic things started.
Oh my goodness.
Just got in here.
I love Toronto, but maybe not during that time.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, because I was going to start things up and carry on the business here. So right now the team's not that big. It's myself and 3 others.
Okay.
So I was able to, lock down. Obviously we're not practicing right now. We're not working practically.
Face, yes.
Yes. So this pandemic has really challenged us to figure out, sorry, that's the train, has challenged us to figure out ways of communicating genuinely with the brides when you can't be face to face or you can't meet,
Yep.
but still be able to capture them enough for them to want to invest in you and in your business versus the thousands of competitors, especially here in Toronto in comparison to a smaller city like Calgary. There's way more competition.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little bit of luck in Calgary because not a lot of places had, one, a team so large, and secondly, both hair and makeup available. And in Toronto, there's way more competition. So I really had to kind of tweak, like big tweaks of how I was communicating with the brides and what I was going to do to attract a completely different set of brides from a totally different city. Yeah.
And that's hard. We've coached a lot of people who've moved from, were winning in one space and they moved to a different state, and getting that ball going again can be difficult without some help and knowing. It sounds like you're not scared of hard work. So sounds like you've been digging into it. So
yeah, absolutely.
how did you, so it was a week before all that started happening, because we had also had the conversion challenge planned for like months, and the last conversion challenge was like right here when the whole COVID thing hit here stateside as well. So how did you feel, like how are you feeling then with all this stuff happening, with COVID kind of crashing around us, like your prospects, like how did you feel about it?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell like how people are going to react if people can't work. Are they going to hold so tightly onto what they do have in terms of savings or what they can have at the time? Like nothing in terms of assistance from the government was solidified. People didn't know what they were going to do. We didn't know how long this was going to last. So I was like, oh my gosh, are people even going to want to put a deposit, even like a nominal amount, because people aren't sure where their lives are going after this point. And then the lockdown started and businesses weren't allowed to be open and people had to stay home, and certain people lost their jobs. Other people are essential workers that are staying working. So yeah, I was like, okay, the first thing I did, of course, was I did the challenge. And that helped me to ask myself really important questions. So I already had the idea that I was going to have to change images that I would use to attract people based on my change of location and language, because I'm originally from Toronto and I know that we're way more like to the point than where I was originally. The brides in Calgary are a little bit more laid back and like, I'm going to wear, cowboy boots under my wedding dress and get married in a barn and have a flower crown. And like, that's their style, which is totally fine. But in Toronto, with such a saturated market, plus brides who are like, okay, what are the facts and how much is it? And who else has used you and how many reviews? Like they're very like savvy and stuff like that.
Kind of short.
Yeah. So you have to prove, you have to have like the best like elevator speech like ever in order to book people. Yeah. So I really had to ask myself questions like, besides that, what do these brides specifically in this place care about?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that I could show that I'm doing those things so that the price would not be the determining factor.
Exactly. Did we clarify that enough this like last time about how to change it so you're not just another price by doing these key elements? Because price is always something there, but we just don't want we don't want you to be just another price. Did you kind of get that from the last challenge? Was that helpful for you?
Yes, absolutely, for sure.
That's our goal here.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously I did my market research. I wanted to see what the average person was charging, of course, in my field. People who are just starting out versus I also looked at who's doing crazy numbers. Who are the people that are highest recommended and super famous and have like however many tens of thousands followers on Instagram, like the whole shebang, and what their rates are. And honestly, it's like they're worlds apart in terms of price points.
I've got some good things for that for you, by the way. So we're going to keep
Yeah, absolutely. So I already knew where I was leaving Calgary. And I just said, you know what, with what Nick and Kate helps me with in the challenge, I don't think that I need to dial back. I can stay at that same price that I built myself up to after so many years.
Yep.
I just need to figure out how to reposition myself and use images and languages that are now going to let these new brides know why they need to choose someone at this price point, which is not astronomical in comparison to some of the other ones that I saw that are really high up, because they have a big reputation here and much longer time in the industry, but it's still much higher than a lot of the other available artists that also are doing quite well. But I was able to use the lessons from the challenge, like how to pinpoint who your ideal bride is, figuring out like your workflows, like as people approach you with an inquiry, how to stay away from the price factor for a longer time, for them to get to know you.
Trust.
Yes.
Excellent. Like, and trust you. You're going to hear about it all next week, those of you who haven't been part of the challenge yet. So,
yeah. So those were huge factors. It helped me because I just have like a Wix site that I do myself for now, as I was telling you.
And it's working, right?
Yeah, I just came up with some ideas of small changes to like the color theme and font and just the wording that I did both on the mobile presentation, because I looked at my ads and I saw that like 95% of brides are looking at my website on their phone. And all the time I was updating my website like from my laptop. And I wasn't really paying attention of how it looked like from the mobile perspective.
Because they're at work half the time looking at planning their weddings and everything. So it's so important. And this is why we tell some people just to do a quick refresh, even if it's not perfect, because it's hard not to be perfect with this, but even like a Wix in a weekend or a Squarespace or something to at least use other people's themes that are already winning. Because you can always, like, you've made some sales, you can always hire a professional next month and have it come through and have like an amazing website built, but you want to like just start somewhere and not have that old website. I know that's a barrier for so many people I coach all the time. It's like they're like, oh my goodness, I have to redo my website, but it's not the end of the world. Can I ask you a question too?
Yes.
So for all those wedding pros that there's like people on the fence. There's so many people taking action and closing a whole bunch of like couples, and they're lining up. I even gave an example of a couple that I was walking through like a sales process, but there's a whole bunch of other people who are on the other side of just, they didn't lean in like you did. They've leaned out and they're kind of waiting to see what's going to happen or whatnot, because they're unsure if you can actually close people in COVID. And you said you had closed like maybe like $6,000 worth of sales since, I guess it'd be 30 days, right? Since the last challenge. Like, can anybody do this type of work, or is it just a fluke?
You know what? I directly attribute this to the lessons from the challenge. Like, there's no guesswork. It's not like I have to list all the things that I did and it's like, well, which is the reason? Mostly all the things that I did came from the challenge. So obviously that's where the results came from.
Yeah, so, their basic sales principles is just, we're so happy to have like shown it to you. So
it was awesome. One of the things that I really took on and made sure that I did was the part where we were talking about the Facebook pixel.
Yes. Thank you for doing that. So you got that installed?
Like, I'm not a techie back page site person, like to go behind and look at like the HTML and all that stuff. But Facebook makes it really easy. And for those of you who are watching now that are like, Pixel, I thought that was a phone. Yeah, it's a phone, but it's also something else that's on Facebook that you can add.
That's true.
It's gonna really make a difference for you to understand what's working, and it's going to make you make it easier for you to have success with doing ads and things like that. Like we all know the old adage, you gotta spend money to make money.
Yep.
But you gotta spend money smart.
Yes. And this is why we're doing the conversion challenge, because literally I can help you just get ads, and we have friends who can help you just get Facebook ads and bring a bunch of leads in. But if you don't convert them into bookings, your ROI goes right down. That's why even myself in the past have messed up, and we're like, oh, I haven't made any money from this ad. Like, but by doing the things that the couples need to see, hear, and speaking to them multiple ways, that ad spend is just going to be so much more productive for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. So like we had said before, we're going to say it again, that we wanted to make this free training to be worth more than like the last 3 paid courses you took, you know. Hopefully that was a fair statement for you, that you walked away and you got some good stuff out of it that could help you with your business. I'm pretty sure you would agree with that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about the conversion challenge that's so great is that a lot of the times when you purchase these little, oh, it's valued at this, but we're going to sell it to you today for la la la, and you're like so excited. It's kind of like they give you a list of stuff to do.
Yep.
That seems simple enough, but then you go to do them, you're like, I really don't know how to do this, because you're left on your own. It's like getting one of those, you know, you're on Facebook scrolling and then this really buff person comes on. They're like, did you know you don't have to stop eating your favorite foods to get like this? I'm going to tell you 3, blah, blah, blah. And you watch the whole thing and you get the program and you're left to fend for yourself and you don't know what the heck you're doing. It's the same concept.
Yeah, and this is why we went with the Facebook Live model, because people can ask us questions. Like, did you get benefits seeing, like hearing from Brian that he was winning and closing people? And like,
yeah,
did
absolutely.
that make you feel good, especially during that time?
Yeah, when Brian was having such good results, I was just like, wow, like this is someone who's really applying all of the pieces of the puzzle coming from the challenge. And I'm sure that if I figure out how to apply it to my business and follow the steps, what's it going to hurt for me to try this? You know, it's clearly working for this person, and I'm sure that I could figure it out. And I think it's definitely been working, and I'm really happy with the results so far.
And I'm excited for you this time, because like as an educator, I know that every time you hear something, it's like you read a book again, you're like a business book, and you're like, wow, I don't even remember saying that last time. But you pick up so much more each time that you go through any type of like material. And that's why we like the live model, because we're available to answer questions and be there with you. And it kind of makes you kind of do it for like the whole 5 days. And
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did you start off right away taking action, or did you kind of hold off a little bit like some people and wait and see until you heard other people were winning with it?
The daily tasks that began, I did them right away.
Okay.
So I just tried to follow along and stay on top as I was going, because it's gradual. You know, the first couple of days, it's things for you to take a step back and look at what you're doing already. And then start implementing changes, small changes. And then as you advance throughout the challenge, it's new things that maybe you haven't done before, or you haven't thought of doing before, or hadn't realized was as important to your business. So I was going along with it, but I wasn't so, I guess, really doing it 1,000%. I was just like completing them to get to the next part, kind of, you know what I mean? And then afterwards, when I saw Brian's success, I was like, okay, maybe I need to like stop going through the motions and just completing them for the sake of it being done, like homework, but actually like putting really more thought and action into it. Yeah. And then after, when the challenge was done, I kind of looked at everything and said, okay, I made the changes to my website. I made the changes to my ads. I started getting more leads that were more of the kind of lead that I wanted.
Sure.
And then I started testing like the language that I used with them, what was working, what wasn't working, and going through those phases throughout the last 30 days. And, you know, I was really surprised because as we were talking about at the beginning of this live, people could have been like, I'm not spending $1 because of this pandemic. And who would blame them?
Yeah.
But the amount of booking that have come through, and like reminder to everyone, if you're just joining, I'm doing wedding hair and makeup. You know, it's not like another business where it's like, okay, you know, thousands of whatever in order to get, you know, so to be doing, I just booked another wedding today, right before I got on this Zoom.
Yay.
Thank you.
Excited for you. And everybody needs to hear that, because I can't tell you how many people are like, you know what, we're taking a break for like 6 months on advertising. I'm like, no, please don't, you know, like no. Dig into, I mean, do it if you want, but dig into it a little bit, you know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the time, like as much as people absolutely are not working and might have, you know, financial trouble, this is also that most of us have more downtime to at least make those changes for when you do feel comfortable to be showing yourself. And you should just do it, because you never know. There could be somebody out there who their spouse or whatever, future spouse, is an essential worker, and they themselves just got their government stimulus. And they're like, you know what, I'm going to look for such and such vendor right now because I know that we're going to be fine, or they have enough of savings, or this or that. You don't know what the circumstance is. And there's so much population of people all around all the different states and provinces that we live in. Right. That it's not worth it to kind of be scared to dive in. You got to just go for it.
You can't assume that. You're so right. Not to be scared to dive in, because like, weddings are a beautiful thing. We've imagined them for a long time. We want to have it. It might change or not, but there are a lot of people who are looking for that day when this ends and they can have that wonderful family reunion type moment. And there's a lot of our members and stuff who are doing like micro weddings and small, safe type things right now.
Yeah,
they're closing right now, let alone later when this all loosens up. Plus, there's going to be a glut of people looking for new vendors, new things, and like there's a lot of opportunity right now. And there's that scarcity factor that are helping people close. Like just knowing, we just did a 3-day flip the switch challenge, like how to use you know, scarcity and some of these things to kind of help you increase your closings, you know. So it's like that's so powerful coming up here for you to be able to book your entire year out. So we're really hoping that, once again, that this training will help you make will be so worth it to you, the free training, that you will be able to like make way more bookings than you lost in this first part here, but in that second part of this year and beyond. Because once you put this in place, it's not like it disappears. It'll always change. But would you say that everything that we taught you was doable, that most people can do it, or at least find help to do it if they need it?
Yeah, absolutely. With like, for example, with the Google Pixel or anything having to do with websites or ads and things like that, Facebook and Google give so direct instructions of how to go to complete those things. Besides those, everything else is from here. And because if you're part of the lives and you're doing the challenge and you join the videos every day, or at the minimum watch the replays, there's so much that's explained. And with people in the comments asking questions, maybe somebody would have asked a question you were thinking of, so that the answer gets, you know, said to you. And that's why this conversion challenge was so successful for me, because every day when I came on, if I wasn't totally like understanding something, or I had a question, I was able to pose it in the comments and get a clear description, just like being in an in-person class, you know, that you would take at a center or something like that. So it was really beneficial for me.
And this was only like a 5-day challenge, you know, like we have a whole team. So we have Kate, who's kind of like the copywriting specialist. We got myself, who's a business builder, and I'm pretty good too. We've brought on a whole team of Chelsea helps us do our Facebook ad campaigns with people, and we have Teresa, who's amazing at all things CRMs and business building, and we've decided to bring a whole team on board to have all that access to help anybody with kind of whatever you need. Plus, we have a lot of other professional colleagues like Caitlin or Henry who are here that can help you. We bring in those workshops to let you see what's hot in the industry right now and everything like that. So there's no lack of help to get. You just have to ask to see what you know, to get the help that you need. There's always someone out there who will help you. So
Absolutely.
mhm.
And that
All
was
right.
great, especially with the rest of the team, like with Teresa and Shaniqua and Chelsea. Like they are such great cheerleaders and they're professionals too.
Mhm.
And they really help so much with following up and doing extra posts in the group. And with the challenge, you can always feel like there's going to be someone there for you, even if you think you have the silliest question.
Yep.
But
And
it's like
I have them put them. I have them put people in touch with me too in a three-way conversation to kind of go. I jumped on with a member just last night looking at her website. She's in London and Italy and everything. So we love helping everybody. We just wanted to make something different from other things. So that's why we had that team approach. Just like you have a crew of team members that can support you in your business, we wanted to bring accessibility to our business so that we're kind of the one place that you can get that deep accessibility, accountability. Part of our system, we have accountability coaches to help you kind of like actually get done the work. Because like you said, people have told us before the same thing you said earlier, you know, I've bought courses, I was excited for a week or two, and then I, you know, got busy with something else and life went on and they never actually took the action. But it's kind of like any workout program. Like I don't need a trainer to work out. But like if I had one, he'd keep me more consistent. I would
yes,
lift more. I would do it
exactly.
because of the accountability factor. Because as entrepreneurs, we work kind of too much in some ways. It's just having that like simple tweaks, and like that's where the amazing part comes in. It's just having a friend walk alongside you. You know, I just got a
Absolutely.
lead on my website right now with my Tidio app. I don't know if you put that on, but I just got my little thing and it's killing me not to go answer it. But you know, did you turn on any instant chat like we taught you, or?
Yes, I got a chat from Ascend, which is
I've heard of it.
offered by
Yep.
Wix. Yeah. It's pretty good. It comes straight to my phone and also like in my email in case I miss something, which is great.
Mhm.
And that's been really great. I've had a couple of visitors come in. People can submit their contact form through I've set it up so it's linked to the contact form as well.
Okay.
So that has been really great to just talk instantly with whoever's kind of hanging out on the site, which is really good. So I've liked that. And also, I can't remember which one of the girls recommended it to me, but I got HoneyBook.
Yes, probably Chelsea. Chelsea's a big fan of HoneyBook. Teresa kind of likes Dubsado, and there's so many
Yeah.
different ones, but yeah, HoneyBook's a great one. Mhm.
Yes,
CRM.
exactly, a CRM. So personally for me, I'm using HoneyBook, and that has really helped me with tightening my workflow and figuring out what I say to each client at each stage. It's not like, don't get the wrong idea, whoever's watching, that it's like very robotic and it's like this after this after this. You have to, of course, put yourself into it at times, like depending on the initial information or inquiry the bride gives me. I, of course, like review what the next thing is going to say, like my response, if it's totally relates to what she just asked or told me, maybe tweak it a little bit. But it's mostly just everything is set up for you of what you would normally do and say that has success. And it makes things like lightning. It's
Yes, I know. I'm so like,
amazing.
I know there's so many little tweaks. If I could just wave that wand, which is what we do with our coaching stuff, but like, and just help you get it done. There's nothing quick and easy about it, but it just kind of gets done. Like the couple that I talked through in the video yesterday, she reached out to me in October, and she was a great example of a buy now, buy later couple. You know, she was a buy later bride back in October. my system through my chat bot and everything kind of kept her going. And then she reached out to me on April 27th, and I didn't even know my system had been doing it because it just comes to my phone. And I was able to escalate her right away up onto a Zoom and like create that challenge. But it's because she got to know me over those months and everything. And that's what I can't wait to see for you, because you've been doing this for 30 days. So say you got 30 couples into your system in the last 30 days. I'm just throwing a number out there, right?
Yeah.
And then next month you throw 30 more in there. And then next month you throw 30 more. And I got like 90 people. And your system slowly, as emails start going out, maybe 5 of them start responding back and asking you questions. And then you can personalize and get that thing going, because when they're trying to get with you and you're like, oh yeah, I'd be happy to meet with you, rather than you cold calling, hey, can I please have your time? It's such a different sales dynamic. You can just close so much easier, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And
Sure.
today, for example, the bride who ended up booking,
Yes.
she was actually a bride who I got as a lead the first week that I started making these changes. So thanks to the challenge teaching me about really the correct number of times to really keep on communicating with our clients, you know, I'm not going to steal Kate's saying about ghosting right now. I'll let her say it next week. But
yeah, I'm saying too much. Right? We got to keep some mystery.
So true. It's so true. And that finally, after a couple of weeks of her receiving, you know, correspondence from me of different topics, finally one was sent out this week that really hit home with her. And she was like, I actually have a picture of the conversation, and it was like, I'm ready. I'm going to do this.
I can't wait to hear that conversation. You got to share it with me, because like it just feels so good. I can't wait to see you 12 months from now, when this is kind of old hat and everything, you know. So
absolutely, I'm so excited. I'm excited to, because for myself and my teams in the other province and also here, they're all artists mostly, either for hair and makeup or eyelashes or whatever it might be, because we offer almost full service options. And so I am doing 100% of the administration.
We need to build you a team. So we're going to work on that.
Yeah.
We're going to help you get that one.
Okay. But so far, all of the changes I've made, especially with the CRM and learning about the ads and making these changes to the site and my language and stuff like that, has really made it much easier for me to handle the workload of managing leads and prospective leads, whether it's from Facebook or from Google or wherever people saw the business listed, or Instagram, for example. I booked 2 Instagram couples just this week from looking
once again.
Thank you. From seeing my profile, my business page, and it just makes a huge difference when you've got an idea of how to do all the steps of what it takes to get a certain result, which is honestly, it's just like makeup. When I was in makeup school, if you like know what you want to look like, but then getting like all the pieces done, sometimes if one's messed up, it makes the whole thing wrecked. But once you have okay, I know that for me, I have to do eyes, then lips, and then it becomes like second nature. And the result is always perfect every time. So whether it's for yourself, it can be literally applied to any kind of business. And for us wedding pros, like the thing with weddings, when my dad was alive, I was explaining to him, because I'm Indian. So of course, all parents are like, you need to be a doctor or an engineer, or that's basically it. Or in business. So my sister went and did the business thing. Hilariously enough, now she's in social media management. So she got to do her thing after she did what they wanted, which is totally fine.
My college roommate Gautam, he's from Mumbai, you know, so it's a lot of fun. You know?
Yes. So when I was explaining to my dad, because he's the kind of person like, well, you need to show me a 5-year business plan, and I need to know that you're going to be successful because
good dad.
He's an awesome dad. I was just like, I know that he did like commercial real estate
Mm.
and some residential. And I was like, Dad, think about it. There isn't a country on this earth where people aren't getting married. There's
Yeah, we
gonna
have an
be
evergreen
business,
business. Yeah.
and I know that I know that I know what I'm doing. And we talked about it and he was like, okay. And then I went to school and then the rest is history. This is 10 years ago. I celebrated my 10-year anniversary of my first wedding last
Mhm.
month.
Excellent. Congratulations.
So I'm so pleased that I am having good results and I'm going to start the next decade with such great success.
You're doing it in the middle of the craziest time and the longest time we've had, so I just want to encourage people that, like, can you imagine when the floodgates open again? Like, if you had done this 3 months ago when, money was flowing easier, like things
Yeah.
will change in time. And you had said before, like, I mean, can you imagine how this kind of stuff works for other professionals as well, who aren't doing just hair and makeup, but they might be doing photography with $5,000 packages, or a venue, just taking little tweaks, how like valuable
Absolutely.
just some of those actions can be for them. So
Yeah, for sure.
I've got one more question for you, so I don't take up all your time. But so if we could teach one more thing this time, a little bit in depth of one of the topics we were talking about, what would it be for you? What's something that we could, kind of explain more better this time?
I think that if we could somehow develop like a checklist
Mhm.
or some type of like a take-home homework that really helps people track
Yeah.
what follow-up language they're using with their couples,
Mhm.
then they're going to be able to kind of, as an ongoing, like during the challenge, after they've done certain steps and also afterwards, because I ended up doing that for myself, so that it's easier for couples to get to that. It's easier for us as vendors to get to the point of being like, okay, these are the kind of language that I'm using with my ideal clients that's having the best results, that it's getting closer to sending a proposal and getting leads booked. So I did that for myself, and I have a notebook with all the different kind of language that I use, and I have a different notebook with all the different ad languages that I use, like headlines and things, to keep track of that so that I know like what's being successful, what combinations are working, and
Mhm.
things like that. So
I'm going to ask Teresa on the call. I wrote it down, but let's add that to the list and we'll see if maybe we can do it for this challenge. Because we do a lot of that type of sales training, making sure the language you're using are right with our other coaching clients. So it is super beneficial because you learn so much over time, especially as you go. But all right. Well, then I am so thankful that you joined us today so that you could have other people, because just like we teach, it's one thing when I say, these are the things you need to do to change your business. But when you hear other people saying, wow, I'm doing it and changing my business, like
yeah,
it's that social proof thing. It just kind of shows people. And I just want everybody to dig into it. There's a giant free conversion starting next week. And, we're going to do our best, and we might roam off script with questions, but we have a great time doing it. So
well,
I
thank you
challenge
so
all
much
of you
for
guys
having me.
to join on. Hopefully come with us again. Be on next week with the challenge, because you're going to learn just that much more deeper and everything this time as well. So I'm looking forward to talking with you then. So we'll connect.
Absolutely.
Let's connect later. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let me, if there's no other questions from the group, then I'm going to go ahead and stop this live. If I can find the button. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. It was my honor to have you on. So we'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you. Yes.
Thank you, everyone.